Also, it's a pretty old game. In fact, just this year, it turned 17 years old. Kind of hilarious when you realize that this game is older than some of its player base. But over those 17 years, we've seen the rise and fall of multiple top players in the scene, and the reason for quitting this game could be multiple, from achieving everything that you wanted in the game, being bored of the game, or even simply just being way too busy with RL stuff. But sometimes there's just very popular players that simply disappear from the game's existence without any reason as to why they've done it, or any known information related to it. In this video, we're going to look at some of these players that you may have even forgotten about, and what they have managed to achieve before they completely disappeared. Let's start off the list with a top 10 player back in 2020 that a lot of people have actually forgotten about. Let's give a few hints. This player at their peak was rank 9. They were very good at playing high AR A maps with 3mod and DT, and at the time they were the #1 player from Hong Kong. Can you guess who it is? If your answer was Obtio, or should I say Obtio, then you're in fact correct. Obtio is a player that has been grinding the game for a pretty long time, first starting out back in February of 2014. He was well known in the OSU community for setting some really good aim scores, specifically in the high AR specialty, and well, that was normal for him considering the fact that back in 2019-2020, this was the meta, which was pretty much farming AR 11 maps. And Obtio was actually playing the game pretty consistently, other than the fact that he was having like a month break every year or two. He was just simply grinding the game, chasing the bag, if you know what I mean. But after he has reached his peak rank at around June of 2020, Obtio for the rest of the year was just sort of farming and doing nothing else and not really ranking up that much. And towards the start of 2021, he has sort of completely stopped playing the game and lost interest for it, except for a little bit towards the end of 2021 when the new rework got released that absolutely destroyed AR 11 maps, specifically short AR 11 maps, which was pretty much his skill set. The last time there was an appearance from Obtio in OSU was back in December of 2023 when he just randomly decided to play the game once again, and that was after a pretty long hiatus, and ever since then it seems like he has completely deleted the game and quit forever. Because although Obtio wasn't really playing the game that much, he was still pretty active on social media like Twitter for example, but even on Twitter he has completely disappeared, the last tweet being around the same time he has quit OSU as well. So what could be the possible reason as to why Obtio has quit other than the fact that it's no longer his meta? And well, there is one simple tweet that might be the answer for everything. Back in the start of 2023, players like Lifeline and Suri were tweeting stuff that was related to having pains on their fingers, and it was pretty much a joke tweet, but Obtio actually quote retweeted one of those tweets, and he has said that one of the main reasons as to why he has quit is actually having pain on his fingers. Now, whether this is actually genuinely true or he has actually joked around just like the other two players, we don't know, but it wouldn't be too surprising considering the long history of players having hand issues like Okizi and others that has unfortunately forced them to quit the game. Another interesting fact is that Obtio actually has one of his favorite players listed on his me page, and that player in a similar way to Obtio just straight up disappeared from the OSU community without any trace or reason as to why. You will see who that is later in the video. The next player on our list is pretty much the first player that anyone could think of when it comes to disappearing out of nowhere. This player used to be the ex-#1 OSU player in the world, and he is very popular in the community as well. And of course, I'm talking about the one and only Vaxei, an absolute tournament beast, being a multiple OWC winner, being #1 on the OSU leaderboards for a pretty long time, being absolutely crazy at almost every single area when it comes to skill in the game, and being the infamous person for setting the legendary first ever 1000 PP play in OSU. Vaxei absolutely needs no introduction when it comes to all this stuff. He has been a top player for many years, absolutely dominating the scene for that time. However, something that Vaxei has been known about recently is the fact that he has been taking very long and unexpected breaks out of nowhere. The first time he has ever done this was back in April of 2020, which lasted up until August of 2020, so it wasn't that bad, considering the fact that he just disappeared randomly again in January of 2022. However, this time it was a bit too suspicious because that 1 month break turned into 2 months, turned into 6 months, turned into a year and 1 month. That is up until a random day on April of 2023 when the legendary comeback happened and Vaxei returned to the game. This was a very legendary moment considering the fact that once he returned, he has set multiple insane scores in the game once again, and the fact that in the same year Vaxei had an incredible OWC performance was pretty much defending the title of the USA for a 6th additional time. But in similar fashion to previously, right after the end of OWC, Vaxei just wrote 07 on his me page. It has completely disappeared from the internet's existence. There has been no trace of him at all, considering the fact that he wasn't even active on social media previously, except for his Twitch, YouTube, and all. That's pretty much it, since that was the only things that he had. I have previously made a video on Vaxei, so if you want to check it out, just click the card on the right corner of the screen. But as to whether or not we will see the return of Vaxei, we will never know. Another person who was also an ex-#1 player in the OSU community is the one and only Firebat92, but some of you may also know him as Angelsim. Angelsim, or Firebat92, was a really well-known player in the OSU community, being very skilled at both DTA maps and stream consistency maps as well. Not only that, but Firebat92 was also very popular for the fact that he was actually a mouse player at the time who was setting some really crazy scores in the game, though he did eventually change to tablet as well. After having his incredible run of being at the #1 spot in 2016 and still being at a respectable #2 spot in 2018, Angelsim had to face something that almost every single South Korean player from the OSU community has to face off once they turned 18, and that is military service for South Korea. His military service started around November of 2018, which you can see where his play count dipped, and apparently he finished his military service around June of 2020, and people were excited to see him back, potentially compete with the new top players that were at the time, and just in general see him play the game once again. And at first it did seem that way, however everyone was just completely wrong the following years. Other than one small meetup that he had back in 2021 and just randomly tweeting hi in 2022, it seems like he has just completely left the OSU community and the game itself overall. Now he does occasionally log in, set like one play and leave, but other than that we can say that he has pretty much completely left the game, and nobody really knows as to why he has done that. There is no online information about it, no hints or anything. The only people who would know are players from South Korea who have been friends with him, and if you happen to be one of them, then please let us know down in the comments as to why he has maybe left. But anyways, if you've watched the video this far, then consider hitting that sub button, it would really be appreciated. Remember how I said previously that Obtio's favorite player has also disappeared from the community a similar way to him? Well, if your guess was DanyL from Chile, then you are absolutely correct. DanyL is a very OG player from the OSU community starting way back in 2013. At his peak he was ranked 12, and for many years he has been a notable figure in the top 50 leaderboards. He was mainly a DT player, and throughout the years he has been very consistent at setting aim plays with DT, and overall he was just a very respected player in the community. At the start of 2022 he was grinding and he managed to get his first and only badge in the game, and after March of 2022 he has pretty much left the game completely. The last time he has set a play in this game was back in October of 2022, and ever since then DanyL has not set a single play in this game. But with how long DanyL has been playing this game, and the fact that on his Twitter the only post is the announcement that he managed to get his first badge in the game, it seems like DanyL has pretty much quit the game mainly because he has achieved everything that he wanted, and that there's essentially no point in playing the game anymore since he got what he wanted. The last appearance of DanyL on any social platform is just him commenting something about a play from a Spanish player or wishing someone a happy birthday, and on a post in 2023 where it was announced that DanyL has left the top 100 leaderboards after 7 years, DanyL just said Sag and add me on Steam, which is funny. So yeah, by the looks of it, I don't think DanyL is going to return to the game anytime soon, since like I said previously, it does seem that he has achieved everything that he wanted and there's no need to come back. Okay, so a final person who we are going to talk about in this video is an absolute legend from Brazil that just randomly disappeared one day this year. And of course I'm talking about the Brazilian legend by the name of MouseEasy. MouseEasy was a very talented player that played with mouse, of course, judging by his name. At his peak he was at around rank 24, who was also a very talented DT player, and besides that he was also a very popular content creator, streaming very frequently on Twitch, gathering an audience of 33,000 followers. But it seems to be the reason as to why MouseEasy quit also is just because he badged to get a life and he has lost interest in the game. His last tweet was posted in March of 2023 announcing that he was live on Twitch, and judging by his play count you can see that he has pretty much just left the game completely after that month. But yeah, if anyone does have contact with MouseEasy or still talks with him to this day, then let us know in the comments as to what he might be doing to this day. And yeah, other than that, I have a few honorable mentions, and the reason why I didn't add these players onto the list is because they're already well known for why they have quit, and Willie has already made a video about them, and I suggest that you really check out those videos because they really go into detail. But I'm essentially talking about Adamqs and Alien, two very popular also players that have deleted their accounts, one of the only few to ever do so, but they have both deleted their accounts for two completely different reasons. I'll leave links in the description to both of those videos. But yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this documentary type video, and let me know in the comments if you want to see more. If you still haven't watched my Wooting ATHE review, then be sure to click the video that is on screen right now, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.